All right, good morning, y'all. So I know there's been some question about this particular rewriting these in the standard form and then plugging in the calculator. So here's let me just give you a different way of looking at this so you can understand what is it that you're trying to accomplish. Okay, first of all, know that, again, standard form looks like this, okay? The whole idea behind this is to ensure that your x's, your y's, your z's, and your constants are all lined up. It doesn't matter if it's x, y, z, or rst, or whatever it might be. Okay, as long as those three are lined up like this, then you're gonna be okay. Okay, and so I know the question has been, well, how do you know whether to move this 4t or to move the rs, things like that? And I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't matter which one you move, so long as it lines up in this particular order, like this, okay? And that's the most important part of setting up a matrix using this. I will always say, if it really helps you, move everything to where every XYZ variable or every variable period, whether it's RST, is on the left-hand side, and the constant value that you have, the number, is on the right-hand side. What that means is, looking at a system like this, I'm going to figure out that I want to move this 4t by subtracting it, okay, to the left-hand side by subtracting it. Okay, that's kind of what you're trying to accomplish, is get everything moved to the left-hand side. That also means, if I look at this r, this s, I'm going to subtract the s, and I'm going to subtract the 4r to this side, and then that way I subtract the s and I subtract the 4r to this side. Okay, and then the last one, well, TRSR is already written in that form, so I'm actually okay with this one being written in the standard form. So understand that this is essentially, when you move the variables to the left-hand side, you're essentially adding or subtracting them to one side or the other, okay? If it's a positive on one side, it has to be negative on the other side. And this is what we call, again, we're balancing the equations, is what we're really doing, to make sure it's all equal to, excuse me, to equal on both sides, okay? And so that's being said, and so when you do that, this is what happens, okay? So I believe the problem says that you're looking for RST. Now I also know that, yes, I realized that when I did this, I forgot to change all the variables to X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. Just change them. It's, alphabetical order. It's not that big of a deal. But because this says RST, I know I'm going to want to rewrite all of this in this format right here, okay? And so if I do that, I take the first equation and I say, okay, if I want this in RST order, my first one is negative r, so I'm going to write negative r first. The second one is s, which is this plus 6s, so I'm going to write 6s. The third one being minus 4t, so minus 4t. So now it's RST. And then 17 is my constant value. If I look at the next one, and I still want this in RST format, so RST, then I look at this one and say, okay, R is minus 4R, S is minus S, T is minus 4T. Again, and my constant being 7 this time. And then the third one is not in RST form, but I want to make sure if I rewrite it in the right format, it can be, minus R plus S plus 5T, and that's going to give me negative 15. And now it's R, S, T. Okay? And so I plug this in the calculator, and again, I'm going to write my matrix so that you know, to kind of help you out with what I'm doing here. So I have negative 1, 6, negative 4, 17. Negative 4, negative 1, negative 4, 7, negative 1, 1, 5, negative 15. Okay? So that's what I would actually plug into the calculator. So if I do second matrix math, and I go down to where it says RREF, alpha zoom, make sure it's a 3x4. So now I plug these numbers in exactly the way they are. -1, 6, -4, 17, -4, -1, -4, oops, sorry, that's supposed to be -4, 7, -1, 1, 5, -15. So when I hit enter, this is what I get. Okay, my identity matrix here, and then my different variables. So if I write that, that's 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. That's 1 1 -3. Okay. So again, if this is the RST column, that means that R is 1, S is 1, T is -3. So this is RST. That's your order triple. Okay. So now the question becomes, does it have to be in this order? The answer is actually no. Okay. I said at the very beginning, I said all that matters is that these are lined up like this. Okay. And so for example, I could, that's the first one, I could rewrite this. I'm going to show you kind of a sticky here what I did, to where, you know, instead of moving the S and the R like I did here, I can move the T over and the 7 this way, and this is what I would get for my variable instead. Okay, still lined it up in RST though, because that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. And when I do this, what I get is the fact that I get the exact same answer. So the question of how do you know whether to move right or left, it doesn't really matter, because both of these are moved. These two and this one were already set up on the left. This one was set up on the right. But when I rewrote it, I made sure that my R's, my S's, and my T's are lined up. Okay, that's all that actually matters for them when it comes to these. Okay, obviously, and that makes sure the signs are correct also. Here's another one, and I'll show you a different one. Okay, what if I don't line them up as RST? Well, if I don't line them up as RST, like this, for example, so assume that I just moved everything around to where, oh, I'm missing a T on this one, I just realized that. Or this is TRS instead. Again, my variables, my coefficients, everything lines up. So when I get my answers, this is actually what I get. I get -3, 1, 1, which is basically different from 1, 1, -3. But because T was first, that means that the first number here is actually T. And since R was second, that means the second number here is R. And notice how the R here is 1, the R here is still 1. The idea of matrices is not about so much about the order of these, or the fact that you move it left or right. It's a matter of the fact that this is lined up with T, this is lined up with R, this is lined up with S, this is lined up with your constant. And then make sure your symbols are correct depending on how you move it around. Okay. So when it comes to rewriting in standard form, please understand that there's no exact way of doing this. My suggestion is move everything left every single time, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like that, so long as it's written in the correct standard form, like this. Then this will give you what you're looking for. Okay, that's what really matters. So I could have written this different multiple ways. You know, in the end, I'm going to get the same values for RST or TSR or whatever it might be, regardless of how I do this, so long as this is lined up. So however this is lined up is really what determines the values that you're looking for here. Okay. Not only that, again, but making sure that you have the right negative, positive signs on the numbers also does matter. You know, if I had made this a +4, then this would not be what it's supposed to be. Okay. I hope that helps in terms of rewriting, because when you rewrite, you're just essentially moving everything around to get everything lined up. But anyway, again, if you have questions, I'll try and be on Zoom today, but if not, message me and I will see what I can do to help. Okay. All right. See you later.